This is Andy McLaughlin from Wish Your Guitar Lessons, sitting in Glasgow with the sensational Robben Ford. How are you, Robben?
Thank you, I'm good.
Excellent. Maybe we could start by talking a little about your new album, Bringing It Back Home.
Great.
Is there a particular concept or idea behind the album?
Well, I wanted it to have kind of a feeling of intimacy, you know, of like you could reach out and touch the musicians, you know. A good feeling, a good vibe, something kind of simple, but still, you know, deep and sophisticated. And I worked hard to, you know, get together the right material in front. Choice of songs is very important, you know. And then beyond that, the right guys to play it.
So, I mean, just talking about the right guys to play it then, what makes the right guy to play it in your band?
Well, the band is not the same group of people who did the recording, but, you know, for me it's important to have people who are versatile, but even more important because the music on this record has kind of a thread that runs through it. I wanted them to really, you know, already have a strong sense of this music. It was something they'd kind of grown up with, you know. They didn't have to learn how to play this music on my record. You know, they could have played this music without me, you know. So to me, that's good casting. You know, when you don't even have to be there, the record's still going to be good. So that's the way I look at it.
Now, is that a big sort of important thing for you then, to be that kind of player yourself, to be versatile, to be able to relate to that kind of style of music?
Yeah, I mean, I was almost tricked into becoming that kind of musician. It's not the right word really, but you know, I was very much a blues, R&B, and jazz, you know, lover. And you know, I grew up as a blues guitarist, and I thought I would become a jazz guitarist. That's what I thought would happen. And then I happened to have the good fortune of being invited to join a band, Tom Scott and the LA Express, which was going to be touring and backing Joni Mitchell for a year. So that put me in the company of people who were, you know, way beyond my level already, and they were also, you know, people who, you know, like could play in all kinds of styles. So within that context, I learned to kind of broaden, you know, my own sensibilities about music, and I was introduced to classical music and Indian classical music and pop music, and you know, I came to appreciate a lot of things that, had I never had that experience, who knows what would have happened. You know? So it was the luck of the draw, you know, that I wound up in an incredible, you know, situation to grow. Yeah. And become less kind of bigoted about music, you know, less chauvinistic about, you know, blues and jazz.
For players who are trying to get that same sort of thing, you obviously over the years have released a number of instructional sort of packages, obviously with VHS, DVDs, and your most recent one is with Truefire, the Blues Revolution.
Yeah.
Also you've got your Guitar Dojo. Could you maybe just talk a little bit about the sort of ethos behind that?
The dojo?
Yeah, the dojo and the Blues Revolution package.
Well, Blues Revolution, I mean, that's a really great thing. I have to really thank Truefire for, you know, seeking me out about doing something like that with them. They're a great company, and you know, they made it very easy for me to do something like that in a real first-class way. The dojo itself, you know, that was pretty much a homespun production, and you know, I had planned on developing it further on my own in this way, with the micro lessons, you know. And I had a lot of other things I wanted to do, but I got so busy, I really couldn't. And Truefire came along, I was able to do something with them, and now they're basically, I think it says Robben Ford Guitar Dojo, powered by Truefire. You know, so they're really enabling me to you know, present a lot more material than I was able to do on my own with my partner, you know. I really like the dojo concept, but you know, again, I just don't have the time to do all the things I plan on doing, because all of a sudden I had a new record deal, I had a new record out, and now I'm touring like crazy. So
things change.
Yeah.
Obviously that material then, you know, the stuff that you learn, the things that you practice, how do you then translate that into having, I mean, you obviously have a very identifiable sound, how do you translate that into, you know, confidence and sort of personality in your own playing?
Well, you know, you have to have a lot of nerve. You know, you have to be willing to, you know, basically drop your pants in public. You have to be willing to leap. Leap. It's a constant series of leaps, you know, and this is the thing that people can't really teach you. You know, you have to, well, I mean, I can talk about it, you know, and present the notion to people, but it's not in a book, right? You know, it's a personal experience where you just have to really, you have to be willing to sound bad in front of people. You know, you have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to, you know, just go for it. Being in front of an audience, playing for people. That's how I learned to play the guitar. I'm a self-taught musician. I got a book and learned a bunch of chords, and that's it. You know? So, you know, just putting yourself out there again and again, and having a tremendous, you know, energy for that. You know, like pushing forward. You know, that's how I learned, and you know, I don't think I'm alone in that. It's kind of a hard way to go, you know. It's kind of a hard way to go.
So do you think that a lot of players then maybe get too caught up in feeling that they have to reach a certain level first,
yes.
whereas you're suggesting that maybe you just need to get out there and play and
yes.
hone your craft that way?
That's right. And at least as a part of what you do, you know. Of course you want to practice at home, but you know, when you go on the bandstand, it's an opportunity to express something.
Yeah. So how do you keep it so fresh after all these years? What keeps you inspired and motivated to keep pushing forward so much?
Well, I love music, and I learned to, you know, like I learned to relax. You know, like I went through that period, you know, where it was, you know, it was painful to be throwing yourself out there again and again, kind of painful. But after a while, you know, I relaxed with that. You know? So it's relatively easy to get excited about good music for me. And I'm just as happy listening to good music as I am playing it. You know, producing, being on the other side of the glass. I don't have to be playing. You know, I like being part of music being produced in any way, shape, or form. You know, so it's easy, you know, from that point of view. Plus, you know, one of the things that I think is a chop that a lot of people don't learn is that you know, you don't have to compete with others. You know, like you kind of start out competing. You're trying to be, you know, a great guitarist or whatever, you know. And you hear people who are already fantastic musicians, and you're like, you know, it's almost bums you out, you know. It's almost like, oh, I'll never learn how to play like that, you know. But you know, at a certain point, it's not about that. It's not a competition, it's a parade, as someone once said, you know. So you bring what you have, you know, and you do your thing, you know, with the music. And competition is, you know, it's relatively healthy when you're, you know, kind of starting out, because you have something to aspire to. But at a certain point, you know, it kind of levels off and it becomes a musical life. It's not a competition.
Do you think that then, that and the sort of the business idea that lots of people have about trying to make it, and you know, do you think a lot of that kind of sort of clouds the actual musicianship that you should hopefully be trying to aspire to?
Every single musician I know goes through all of that. It doesn't matter how good you are or even how much you've done. You know, you don't know what you're going to be doing tomorrow, you know, necessarily. The business aspect, you know, the career aspect of music it's a very tough thing to chew, you know. It's difficult for everybody. It really is. I don't know anybody who's got it wrapped up, you know, except, you know, really wealthy, famous star people.
Yeah.
And that's not the rest of us. We're musicians, you know. Musicians, that's not their thing, you know. It's about making music, and so it'll always be a little, you know, a bit of an unknown. You know. The future is always going to be a bit of an unknown. But, you know, the more you relax with it and just take the ride and just keep concentrating on your music. You know, just make your music, develop your music. You know, like as I have said before, you know, if you take care of the music will take care of you, I think.
Yeah. With that in mind then, what sort of things do you have in plan for the next, say, year ahead? Is it going to be some more touring?
Yes, I mean I have, you know, I've just released my first record for a new label. I've signed a 3-record deal with them. I love the company. They're very supportive, big time supportive, and that's hard to find, especially today. And so, you know, I'm going to continue to record, put out records and tour for the next 3 years. And then I don't know after that. And I can't tell what the music's going to be. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a lot of it.
And is that what keeps it fresh then, the fact that you don't know necessarily what's going to be happening from one year to the next?
Absolutely. You know, and I know that I am in a position to make whatever I want to make. It'll be just fine. I'm not going to worry about it. Whatever I'm inspired to do, I'll do that, and I'll hand it to them, and I'll go out and hit the road, you know. And it seems like it's all going to be good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Robben, and I'm personally delighted to see you tonight.
All right.
Thank you very much, Robben Ford, Guitar Lessons. Thank you.